This is Dan.
And this is Zing.
Dan.
Still am.
So we did a bit of a phrasing and musicality class. So we spoke about standard phrase being 4 lots of 8, and then we practiced some sequence that were like this and put a break at the end of them. I've got my little bits of paper. I can bring those over. So we practiced doing our standard phrase. Some people are visual learners. 8, 8, 8, 8, 32 counts. That's our standard phrase. We then looked at our 6 count moves, and so to make 32 counts, we could do 4 6s and an 8, or we could start with an 8 and then do 4 6s, or you can put the 8 anywhere, and that'll always equal 32. So we played around with making up our own versions of these. So it could start with a 8 count basic, and then you do 4 6 count moves, or we started with a swing out and then did 4 6 count moves. So that was kind of where we played around with our standard phrasing, because it feels nice to be able to start on the phrases. And then we started playing around a little bit with the phrasing, like what happens if we had 2 8 counts followed by 2 6 count moves, and how might we finish off that phrase. So we looked at being able to put in a 4 count move at the end, which was like a rock, step, swing, hold, or we did a rock, step, thump, thump. So we can make it 4 count to finish off our phrase, on phrase. The other thing we looked at doing was making this a 10 count move, so putting the 4 onto our last 6. We played a bit around with this where follows or leads can kind of initiate. So we did 2 8 count moves, and then we did 2 pass-bys, and we used that second pass-by and we drew it out to fit the phrase. So we used our solo jazz, so I can demo that. So we do 2 pass-bys, and the second pass-by we're going to draw out. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we can go back into our 8 count or whatever it was. So we had that this is something that the follows can initiate, where the leads maybe don't hear the end of the phrase coming up, and I'm like, oh, the end of the phrase is coming up. I'm going to draw out this and do some cool solo jazz, and my leads might join me on that journey. So having the voice in the dance. Or the leads can do it if they're like, I'm a little bit early and I'm really close to the phrase. I'm going to do some solo jazz in my pass-by until I hit the phrase.
And when you're doing it as a lead, by taking that time, where you normally do a rock step and travel through there quite quick, you can really sort of slow that down and let it sort of take that time to go through those 10 counts. Essentially that 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So that's what we played around with there. And then, oh my God, words. And then our last one that we kind of played with was what happens if we've done 5 6 count moves. And then we have 2 moves, 2 counts left. So we can do things where you could do maybe like a walk to fill that extra 2 counts, or like a swing, hold, or a double rock step. So there's other things. Or if you shove that 2 onto the 6, it makes it an 8 count. So you're just kind of extending that 6 count move into an 8 count move.
Cool.
So that was kind of what we played around with, and being able to try to work to stay on phrase as a layer of musicality.
And introduce the idea of blues phrasing at 8.
Yeah, blues phrasing is 6 lots of 8.
Yeah.
Just to confuse us. Then you do your standard phrase plus 2 8s. And other maths when you are ready for it.
Cool.
Thank you.